let me tell you, you have to come into dating ready.
Yeah.
Because you can't outrun your beliefs. So if you come into the dating pool, into the dating market, believing, man, there are no good people out here, no good men out here, there are no good women out here. You're going to get exactly what you actually bring, your beliefs. You can't outrun your beliefs. I promise you, it will play out that way.
We want you to enjoy the dating experience. Remember, dating is a very short shopping experience. It only lasts up to like a month. And so in that time, we want you to have fun. Right. But oftentimes people are frustrated with the process because they probably haven't sat down and really identified whether they're ready to date. How do they know that they'll be good at dating? We have a love style quiz, right? So if you take our quiz, you'll find out whether you are frustrated fantasy or free love. And what Cullen just described are part of the traits of a frustrated love expression. So you're usually apathetic. You usually don't have much experience in love literacy. You usually say things like, oh, they don't have no more good blank out there. Or why don't you just bring me the person? I think I'm ready. I'm a good partner. And you really haven't done your unpacking work, or your beliefs are more negative based. And so it leads you to have this apathetic energy. And thus every time you go on a date, you're not aware of it. It's all subconscious, but you show up in this apathetic state. And so your expression comes up as a frustrated one, and thus your experiences are frustrated.
And energy draws like energy. So that's something to really, really keep in mind.
You have to be ready for the dating experience. It won't just happen by chance. And dating, you need a lot of reps. And so if you are frustrated, then we do recommend that you do some unpacking of your beliefs, maybe get some therapy sessions in there, probably like 3 to 6 months, to really get those beliefs down, because you can't outrun them. And whatever you present to the world is what's going to mirror back. Say you've done all that and you say, okay, I think I'm ready to engage and find a person that's compatible for me. That's great. Sit with your profile. Remember, pages 49 and 51, do your profile first so you can identify really what you need. So when you're on a date, you're vetting for just those things, right? So people may surprise you in dating. They could show up and you may say that I didn't know that I enjoyed daytime concerts. Like, that's a surprise that wasn't on your profile, but that's a surprise that you really figured you enjoy. And so you show up in a space that you're more open. When you're ready to date, you're usually open. You are excited about new opportunities. You don't hold a person to a standard that they have to prove themselves to you. That usually turns out to be a fun dating experience.
And I want to start by saying this. There are people who've blown great experiences on dates because they're under the belief that that perfect people exist. You may find a perfect partner, but you won't find a perfect person. So all of our life experiences have prepared us for the fact that there's no such thing as a perfect person. Think about your best friend. Think about your favorite relative. I promise you, there's also some other stuff about them that is not so favorable. Like, they might be the most loving person in the world, but they're gossip. Or they, drink a little too much, or this or that, but they're amazing. You can't get enough of them. You love them. That's life's way of preparing you for the fact that beautiful people exist out here, but they're not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
So your goal in dating is not to go out and find a perfect person. It's to go out and find somebody that's perfect for you.
Remember, we broke down in Love Literacy book, pages 49 to 51, about 20 questions that help you really hone into your self-awareness for how you're showing up in the world and actually what you need in a partner. And so it's an intentional time for you to sit and discover what shows up for you. What do you need? Do you enjoy 3 phone calls a week? Do you enjoy 3 phone calls a day? Are you a texter? Are you a quality time person? Do you need that check-in from your partner? Do you enjoy high energy people, or do you enjoy mellow? You have to really identify what works for you first. And so taking the time for your profile helps you show up authentically when you're on a date. You actually want to have fun, remember? So having your profile in the back of your mind, knowing who you are, knowing how you show up, will allow you to be open and not show up as a representative. oftentimes people come ready to check off what that person is doing. And we're saying, don't you go out there dating worrying about that person. Show up as your authentic self and let that person show up as their authentic self. And one shortcut to do that is by knowing your relationship profile. So get that done.
Like I said, you're not perfect either. So you want to be checking for things like grace. Is that person the type of person that is extending grace to you? Are they kind? Are they do they honor you? Which just simply means that they have a higher level of respect for you. I mean, that's what you expect in a relationship. And some people may say, well, that's old fashioned stuff. So it's not. It's not. I promise you, it's not. Even if your intention is never to have a long term relationship or a lifetime relationship or marriage, you still want to have people in your network that love you back. And that's the whole thing about vetting. The more you think this out and think about the things that are important to you, you're doing two things when you create that profile. You think about the things that are most important to you that aren't going to change, things that have been timeless. You've been with yourself more than anybody, and you know the things that open you up, but you also know the things that make you shut down. And all I'm asking you to do is account for those things. And when you're going out and in a dating experience, you can still have fun. You can still order that cake or whatever, or get the extra blooming onion or whatever you like. But you're also there to find out those important things, finding out whether that person is able to deliver in terms of the loving stuff, and then also if they have negative things that actually are going to close you up. And that's so important for you to find. Nobody else is going to do that for you, and nobody has that type of intel to be able to get that right. So even if you hired a dating professional, you would have to either tell them that matchmaker, whatever. You would have to pass that information along in order to set them up to succeed.
Now that you know what you want and you've completed your relationship profile, again, it's not perfect, it's a living document. Here are some very clear do's and don'ts when you're dating. Do not extend grace as if this person is your lifetime partner. When we say extend grace, we're saying if you see that person shows up and they are mean or saying harmful things to the waiter or some experiences with other people, and you say, wow, they seem like they're kind of mean. Don't ignore that. Don't just say, oh, they may have just been having a bad day. You notice that when you all were walking through, they just not politely, but they bumped and moved people out of the way. And you're like, ooh, that was harsh. You know they're harsh. You see they're mean. We're saying don't feel like you didn't see those things. Do not extend grace in a dating period. Here's where you have to vet, and when you see those flags come up, you have to honor them.
In no other point, and no other phase, no other phase of
this journey
of your journey will you get to be conditional. So there's a reason that you have this period. That 4 to 6 weeks, it's just 4 to 6 weeks that you get to be conditional because you're answering questions. That's just like you going to buy something out of a store and you just automatically buy. You see that the TV is broken, but you buy it anyway. You know, it's your responsibility to make the choice that you can live with. So, and you're only going to get that for 4 to 6 weeks.
So the reason that we say do not give grace in dating, think of this analogy. You go for a job and you give full healthcare coverage at the interview. Then people don't know you. You don't know nothing about them. So you don't expect full medical, dental healthcare at the interview. That's what you're doing when you give grace and ignore those flags in dating.
Right.
You're giving full coverage to a person who hasn't shown that their actions match what they're saying. So we're saying you have to be conditional in the dating phase. You have to say what works and what doesn't and leave the dating cycles very quickly. You don't owe that longevity.
That's
you
right.
don't owe that grace. So do not do that in dating.
If you get past that, you have the rest of your life to do that with that person, to extend unconditional love. dating consciously. I'm gonna keep it real simple for you. All you're doing is the reason why it's important. We have to name this. There are people who are on their first date, and we had plenty of these clients like this who on their first date they're already ruminating about how the relationship is going to end. Stay in the moment. Everything you need to know, everything you need to see is in the moment. And that's where life happens.
Conscious daters are actively engaged in the moment and they see what's happening moment by moment. They already know their profile. They've taken the time to go through the book and sit with themselves and find out what works for them and what doesn't. And so they're in the moment having fun.
So they're more aware.
They're more aware.
So that means they're going to be, when you're more aware, you're more attentive to what's going on, which also helps you to be more attentive to your partner or to the experience itself. So that you got to be in it to win it.
During dating, a do for dating, if you have the bandwidth, if you have the capacity, date multiple people. Remember, dating is a very short shopping experience. That's equivalent to being in a huge shopping mall and you going into multiple stores, picking up a shirt. You like that one, but you could go back to the store next door or upstairs and pick up another one. You're not committed to any of those shirts. People can't run you down in the store and say, hey, you must buy this because you looked at a shirt. So if you have the capacity, if you have the bandwidth to be an active dater, then that means you can date multiple people, meaning that you are seeing them maybe once a week each. You have 2 or 3 people in the rotation that you are not in a committed relationship with. You're not extending grace. You're just having fun, collecting intel, checking the chemistry, seeing if you're compatible. Some people can do that with multiple people, and we want you to be actively going on dates every week. So if you have the capacity, then please date multiple people so you can identify who out of this group is going to go with you into courtship.
See, this is where that whole dating consciously comes into play. Like there's some people, and most of the time it's the people who date exclusively. I mean, they date exclusively, one person at a time. They typically make the mistake of already starting to claim that person as their girlfriend or boyfriend. Don't do it. That person owes you nothing. You owe them nothing. Dating only works when you're free to like make these decisions and still treat it like a shopping experience. So you're getting knowledge about this person and you're not caught up thinking we're already that. No, you're not. You skip some steps. I understand it's easy to fall down that slippery slope, but you can't allow that to happen because it's going to rob you of the one opportunity that you have to vet and find out if this person is a good match. Still no guarantee, but it's a way better one when you've answered your question.
So you've been dating for about 4 weeks, and we say 4 to 6 weeks only if it's probably long distance. You may go 6 weeks. But 4 weeks max, you've answered your question. You've checked off the chemistry. You've had fun experiences with this person a couple of times by now. So now you're saying, all right, I dig them. We're both vibing. Let's see what else we can do or how we can co-create a life together. That's when you're leaving dating, which was not a relationship, and you're going into courting, which is a relationship. You and the person must both agree, though. You must have a conversation where both people agree that we are mutually going into a committed relationship. Dating was not a relationship. Courtship is. But courtship is a temporary relationship. So that transition from dating to courtship, one names it as a relationship. Both parties have agreed to be exclusive, to do work together, to co-create a life. That's the main difference. You have to make that explicit transition.
And part of that main transition, we're not going to jump into this because this is a chapter all its own. But part of you making that commitment is knowing that the two of you are agreeing to the same terms. What's your vision of what a relationship is? Whatever it is, they have to be in sync because not everybody has the same definition of a relationship.
Yeah, and division is just that.
Yeah.
Now, we gave you a lot in this episode, and we feel like you can have the buds of an active, conscious dater. If you feel like you still have some questions, make sure you pick up Love Literacy, do your homework like we described, go to our website, sign up for our newsletter. Do not struggle in this dating life. We don't want you out here being a frustrated dating. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.